What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of DT Podcast. It's been a while. Yes, there's no music. We're raw, we're unedited, and we're back with the one and only Mr. Burt Green. Burt, thank you for joining me once again. How you doing, my man?
Yeah, I'm all good. I'm just recovering from the flu. Must have been the flu because there's nothing else around at the moment. I didn't do any tests for anything, and nothing else. It was the flu. At least it felt like it. And I've been sick as a dog. Um,
You look
yeah.
good.
Other than that, thanks, man. I appreciate it. I've just about started kind of feeling myself. Although I've been taking a lot of naps, way more naps than usual.
Yeah. Home
Yeah.
office?
Yeah, I've been working from home, and so on lunchtimes, I have been getting so tired that I'm like, I need a 20-minute nap. So I just
Yeah.
lie down on my sofa, just take a nap, set an alarm, take a nap,
That's
and
it, man.
yeah, yeah, it's been
Excellent,
all right.
man. Well, as you see from the beginning here, man, there's been no, you know, visuals, there's no music. Dude, it has been an absolutely hectic time here in Switzerland. It has been so busy. I have neglected my YouTube channel for like the best part of about 6 weeks. I haven't had an time to do an episode. I haven't had inspiration to do an episode. We've been chatting back and forth about doing an episode for something that's been coming up. But dude, I've just had no time, man. How do you deal with just not having any time to do this shit? Do you just bang it out anyway?
Um, a lot of the time I make time. Last week I didn't get my casuals guide done because I
Mm,
was just too ill. I was just doing full-time job, just as soon, and I didn't take any time off, and I should have done. Like a lot of my colleagues were all on annual leave, so I knew that
mm.
my boss was going to be kind of up a horrible creek without a paddle, basically. If I wasn't there, because I was covering two people, so
Right.
if I then call in sick, like what you know, like what's going to happen? So
Yeah.
I did tap out on Friday afternoon. I got all the really important stuff done. Managed to get so all like clients were happy, and I just said to my boss that I'm tapping out. I've got to go and lie down because I was genuinely so ill. Like my it's like my back. It's weird. It manifested all in my back. Like my whole body was aching, but my back
We're getting
was just
old, man.
killing. Yeah, no, and it hurt to sit at my desk genuinely.
Yeah.
So we're doing all that. I was by the time it came to the end of the day, I was like, "There's no way I'm doing an episode. I just can't. I don't have the energy to research it." Um,
Mm.
there was only a few fighters on there that I knew who they were. Luckily, Jonathan Martinez was one of them. He looked really good actually. The king of leg kicks. He's so goddamn good. Anyway, um, yeah. In answer to your original question, I just normally I stick to my routine. I do a little bit, kind of most nights. The key for me is getting a lot of prep done on a Sunday afternoon whilst I'm watching sports. If I don't do the prep on the Sunday afternoon, my week is ruined because then after work I have exponentially more to do.
Right.
And mentally, I feel like I'm behind rather than ahead. And mentally, you want to be ahead. That's where you want to be. Like it's incredible the difference it makes to my mood to just get, even if it's just getting them prepped, getting my images sorted, getting my kind of my research done on the Sunday afternoon. Even if I just get that done, it makes such a huge difference to my mood all week because
Right.
I'm on the front foot. I feel like I'm kind of getting there, but
Yeah, yeah.
ultimately,
I've been lagging on that, man. I've had inspirations to talk about certain topics, and I've had time to sit down and really go, all right, I'm going to log on tonight. I'm going to talk about this, this, and this. I'm going to be as controversial as possible. I'm going to talk about how many genders there are. There's only two.
yes,
But when I actually get to sit down, like fucking set everything up, I'm exhausted and I don't want to put out anything where I'm just kind of falling asleep on the,
yeah,
on the mic. But I remember doing an episode when I was sick back at Christmas a couple of years ago, and my throat was so sore, but I had this big deep voice. I got a lot of cool feedback from it. So I'd
oh
love to see
yeah,
a Burt Green episode where you're like tired and deep, like Barry White deep voice.
grouchy.
That'd be
I
pretty.
do stand up like that sometimes. Sometimes like
Yeah.
I do change like my stand up set, depending on like kind of how much energy I have. If I'm really low energy, I sometimes just do like the most depressing set that you've ever seen. But it's if in a lot of ways it's funnier because I just do all my dark, really kind of depressing jokes. Like there's this one bit that I do that It always gets a laugh. I talk about, yeah, but, yeah, it's just a kind of throwaway line, but it seems to always work. But I just talk about, I was in the office today. Uh, yeah, normally I wear glasses when I go to the office, and I just wasn't wearing them. My colleague said, "Oh, have you switched to contacts?" And I said, "No, no, I've just seen enough." And yeah, the whole set is basically like that level of energy.
Your
It's
demeanor was fucking destroyed there. That was
yeah,
hilarious.
yeah. No, it's I sometimes but it's hard to do when you have energy, and it's because what I found with stand up is that people can tell when you're faking energy, when you're faking it. So if I'm high energy, like I go to a different style set. It's all a bit more ranty. It's a bit more kind of animated. It's probably a little bit more kind of like zany, a bit more kind of wacky. But if I'm genuinely not feeling like I'm up to it, I will switch to my kind of. I've got enough material now where I can switch between the two and decide where I'm going, because I've
Yeah.
done it before where I've had to fake having energy for my more energetic bits. It doesn't work. It lands horribly because the audience can't tell what you're being fake about. That they can tell you're being fake, and it does, like they can, and they can't even consciously tell that they can tell, but they can pick up on something fraudulent, and they don't like it. It doesn't
Yeah.
work.
I have a
So
question for you. Who's your favorite comedian in terms of delivery?
in terms of delivery, it's Louis C.K. Louis
Right.
C.K. and Sean Locke are my two favorites of all time. Sean Locke, obviously, legendary English
Yeah.
comedian. I was privileged enough to see him live a few times. I've seen Louis C.K. live as well
Right.
at Wembley Arena. He's so, like, Louis C.K. is on another level good. People don't understand how good he is. His delivery, everything. There's no fat. It's just funny, 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 funny. You have to catch your breath. When you see him live, like you are, it's like my sides were hurting. Another comic who I actually, you can tell, he recently toured and opened for Louis C.K. Shane Gillis. I saw him live at the
Yeah.
Leicester Square Theatre, and he is going to be on the same level as Louis C.K. one day. He's actually not a million miles away currently.
Yeah.
He's so talented. Like his set from start to finish, I was howling, just crying, laughing, and you have
Yeah.
to catch your breath. It hurts. Like the comics that put me in physical pain, those are the ones that are my favorites, and they
Brilliant.
are the best at what they do.
Louis C.K. is one, of course, but maybe is one of my favorite bits. He talks about, of course we should do this, but maybe, do you remember that bit? It was very good.
What it might have been the my believies bit where it's just like, I'm sitting in my first class seat, and every time I'm on a flight I see these. I'm butchering it, by the way. This isn't the actual bit, but the basic premise is he sees these soldiers, you know, getting on the planes, like, because to get them to the war they just get on Delta. Do you know what I mean? They don't get on like on these big, like, green planes with like flashing lights. No. They're in coach or Delta.
Yeah.
That's how you get them to the war. And
Jesus. Yeah.
like, every time I'm sat there, I see them through the curtain. I'm in my first class seat, and I think to myself, it'd be nice if I gave up my seat for that young man, like in the armed forces. It would make his year. I could live with sitting in coach. It would be such a nice thing of me to do that. I have never done this, but just the fact of me thinking about having done it makes me feel like I've done a good thing, and they're like my believies, my little
Yeah.
believies. They comfort me. It's like,
That's
oh,
brilliant.
sorry, I butchered that bit, absolutely butchered it. But he's those kind of
And
uh,
bits.
those kind of observations are genius, because honestly, I think we can all kind of relate to that. You think about doing something nice, and you're like, yeah, but no. Yeah, it would be nice, but no, no.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty nice for thinking about that, though. For thinking
Yeah.
about that other person, not going to do it, but pretty nice for thinking of it. Yeah, very good.
Do you remember Mitch Heid? Is it Heidenberg? Heidberg? Mitch Hedberg? Mitch Hedberg.
Hi, no, I don't.
Dude, I'll send you a link
Doesn't
from
ring a bell.
Mitch. He passed away there many years ago, but he's a fucking, his delivery. He's just such a calm, awkward, nerdy comedian, and his comedy is just genius. And the way he
Excellent.
delivers is fantastic. But let's move on to fucking fights, dude. I haven't sat
Yes.
down and watched a fight in weeks, man. I've been as again, I don't want to keep harping on. Yeah, I'm busy, but there's been nothing around keeping me interested. Believe it or not, I sat down and I watched Dylan Dennis versus Logan Paul
Oh,
live. I may have found a link that should I say that on this
I
mic?
don't think either of them are
Like get
watching
sued?
this.
Maybe they hey, Logan, if you're watching, you know.
Sorry.
But yeah, I watched that live, dude. And yeah, fights, man. What's happening now in boxing is the same as to what happened to MTV when they stopped playing music and they put on 16 and Pregnant. It's just this embarrassing bunch of trash.
Interestingly enough, I actually don't know what happened in that fight. I'm
You
so
didn't miss anything.
disinterested.
Yeah.
What actually happened? I mean, I know that Dylan Dennis lost, but that's about it.
Yeah, man. Dylan
That's it.
Dennis went in and literally threw 6 punches in 4 rounds. And in the last round,
Six punches.
it was horrible, dude. He just had
Oh,
a
that's three
cage.
more than I thought he'd punch.
Yeah. And then the
Yeah.
last round, he tried to choke Logan Paul, and Logan threw him to the ground, put a hammer fist on him. Logan's security gets into the ring. Dylan Dennis throws a punch at Logan's security. Dylan Dennis gets disqualified, and a big brawl ensues with the
Does
interlocking security. Dude, it was a fucking shit show. There's no question about it.
Does Dennis lose his purse for that?
I don't think so. I think he got paid.
That's a shame.
Yeah. But nonetheless, let's fucking veer away from that bunch of
Yes.
horse shit. Before we touch on UFC fights this weekend, bro, I want to talk about USADA drug testing. Let's talk
Okay.
drugs, dude.
Okay. Yeah, the UFC have moved away from USADA and they are going to be doing their anti-doping internally. They've hired several people to do it, including ex-FBI. I forget his name, ex-FBI
Yeah, yeah.
high up guy. Look, I have no reason to believe that Dana White wants the bad publicity of having like a dirty sport again. He doesn't want, because it would be a problem for ESPN, for Disney, because the only reason they ended up getting onto Fox and getting all those TV deals was because they managed to clean up the sport, tidy it up, bring it to a more mainstream audience, but kind of get rid of that whole persona, that image of these guys are just steroided up freaks just bashing each other's heads in. They managed to tidy up the image of the UFC, and that's what made it so sellable, and that's what caused them to make such an obscene amount of money when they sold it back in 2016/2017. Now they're not about to just do a complete reversal on that. I genuinely think that there's been trouble brewing with USADA for a little while. Dana White has said that he doesn't agree with some of their methods. He appreciates their results, everything. But some of their methods are just wrong. It's supposed to be for the benefit of the fighters, for the health of the fighters. Now, how is dragging a fighter out of bed whilst they are cutting weight at 5 in the morning and taking blood and urine from them whilst they're supposed to be sleeping and rehydrating? How is that for the benefit of the fighters? They
Yeah.
like they could test them at a more convenient time than that. I understand they want to be hardcore and whatever. But that's something that Dana White and Hunter Campbell have actually disagreed with for quite some time, and they've been very vocal about this. This is not a news. This it's not a complete shock to me when I saw that they weren't renewing their contract, because I knew that it was up. People are kind of are getting hysterical and saying, "Oh, they're going to go back to, it could be like Pride Days, it's going to be the Wild West. Everyone's going to be doping again." I don't think that's the case. They're just handling everything internally. It's cheaper. They get to control
No, no,
slightly
no, they're
better what
not.
they can
They're
do.
not. They're not. They're not. They've come out. They came out last week and said that they're going to go with another independent company that they're going to
Oh, is it a new
actually,
one?
yeah,
Okay.
they're the ones that the USADA guys were outsourcing to do their testing. So it's essentially nothing is changing,
So
but they're
yeah,
still
they're
going to pay an external company.
oh, fair
They
enough.
say that it's independent, but they're paying them, so it's a new contract with a new company. But it's not just USADA. There's so many different players in the game. But
There is.
what's interesting about the whole thing is the lack of communication and lack of understanding as to what's going on, because everyone's saying, "Oh, it's going back to the Wild West. There's going to be drug use." No, they're
No.
saying that it's going to be tested. Everyone's going to be tested fairly. But the issue is USADA went nuts when they heard Conor McGregor's fighting in
Yeah.
December. and they were like, Connor's
which was
not
never
fighting in December.
confirmed.
Nothing was booked, nothing was
Nothing
confirmed.
booked,
It was
nothing
just
confirmed.
two CEOs bashing heads behind the fucking
Yeah.
scenes with Hunter Campbell, the UFC's lawyer. And it was just like a pissing contest where they were like, oh, well, fuck you guys, we're taking our ball and going home. It's such a diva shit show, dude. It's hilarious.
Yeah. I think USADA looked pretty bad after
Yeah.
it, honestly. When you watch that statement they put out, Dana White came out and was like, look, we never said anything about Conor fighting in December. As far as we're concerned, we're trying to line him up for the UFC 300 card, which is going to be May, April, which would put him right in line to be within the anti-doping, like 6-month testing pool window.
Yeah.
So they need to issue a statement retracting everything that they said, or we might sue them because they can't just go around slandering our company and our fighter like that, because it would be would it be slander? Is that what it would fall under? If it's found to be untrue, is that
Yeah.
yeah? I
I think
suppose
in
I suppose
terms
they
of
have to prove
business
it's
would be, it
untrue.
wouldn't even be defamation of character, but
No,
it would be just like I guess you'd just say false accusations. It's just
yeah,
like
yeah.
not true.
I mean,
Connor, we
I'm
all
not a
know
fancy big city lawyer.
we all know Connor is on shit though to recover
Oh yeah,
out, and
yeah.
he did the movie where he looks fucking buff. So we know Connor's going to piss hot in the next 2 months
Fair
anyway.
play to him.
Yeah.
Who cares anymore?
But
God, it's
allegedly, I have to say allegedly because I don't want to get
allegedly.
sued, dude.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
My
That's
legal
fair.
team consists of me on Google,
I love how nuts Mark Hunt is going. Still, let it go, dude. God damn. Look,
right?
if you like the only thing with Mark Hunt is he always like he literally just goes in with these stupid, like very poorly constructed sentences, just basically bashing the UFC, calling them criminals. They're advocating steroid cheats and blah 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 blah. Dude, you made your name in Pride FC. If you cared about transparency and everything like that in the sport, if it was literally just like if it wasn't a vendetta against the UFC, if it was just a vendetta against drug cheats, and you'd be calling out Pride and the Yakuza as well. But I don't see you doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
Your vendetta is with the UFC. You said before the Brock Lesnar fight that you knew he was juiced to the gills and that you were going to knock him out anyway. You said that. No one forced you to say that. No one forced you to take the fight. You said you knew that he was juicing. You were upset because you lost, not because he was juicing. You're upset because of the result. That's the problem. But also it's been quite a long time now. You've lost 3 lawsuits. I think it's time to let it go. It's time to stop with the nonsense.
There you go, man. And
Sweet.
joining us live on the other line is Mark Hunt. Mark, no, I wish that'd be fucking beautiful.
God damn.
Dude, will you watch the fights at the weekend, man? Are you excited
Yeah.
for UFC? Is it 296?
294.
294.
I'll be totally honest. Last couple of cards haven't blown my skirt up. The last fight night, I didn't do a casuals guide because I was like, you know what? It's not a popular enough card for enough people to watch it. I feel too ill, so I'm taking the week off. You know,
Yeah,
screw it.
it was COVID leave.
Yeah, I did. I've finished. I've just finished editing the casuals guide for UFC 294, and I actually shot it last night because after researching it, I was so excited. I was like, I have to record this now. And it was very late. Normally, I don't record them that late, but I was like, I have to record this now because I've got all these ideas flowing. I'm very interested in, especially the top 3 fights are really very interesting, mostly because there's this narrative. Should we just get into it? Should we get into the top 3 fights?
Let's just do the top 2 because I don't want to take away from your casuals guide because I'm not going
That's
to do a
fair.
full breakdown. I will wait till you post yours and I'll pop the link below for people who are
Oh,
fans of
amazing!
yours to
It's
click on.
literally scheduled for 10:30 tonight.
Ah, perfect. This will
10:30.
go up in a couple of days, so we got plenty
Oh,
of time.
amazing! Amazing.
So the co-main event, dude. I mean, these are going to be killer fights. Now, incidentally, we found out today that these fights are live at ridiculous o'clock in the morning for Europe, even though they're on in Abu Dhabi. So they're fighting at
What?
they're fighting for breakfast in Abu Dhabi.
Nope.
Am I wrong?
No, you're wrong. Sorry.
Oh, am I
Sorry.
wrong? I checked this out today. Let's check it out.
They are fighting for breakfast in the States.
UFC 294.
Fighting for breakfast in the States. The main event is 9:15 in the evening for the UK. Woohoo! Oh yeah,
Wait a
that's
second.
right.
Wait a second. Saturday, October 21st,
Yeah.
8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the
Mm,
main card.
no, no, no.
I'm looking.
They've got a breakfast. They've got 10. They're 10 a.m. I think their card starts. Honestly,
I'm looking at it. I'm looking
no,
at it
I'm
on
I'm
UFC's
looking at
website.
it. I'm looking at it. The UFC's website. The UFC's website is so wrong
Is it?
so often. So often.
All
They
right.
get the stats wrong a ridiculous amount of times. I don't really use their site for the stats because they get them so wrong.
Really?
It's embarrassing.
We got to
Like
check that. We got
sometimes
to get that right because I don't want to be like missing any fights if they're on a cool o'clock Europe time.
Sky Sports betting very rarely steer me wrong. They have the first fight of the night on at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then the main event walks out at 9:15 in the evening.
Beautiful. 10:15
That
our time.
makes sense. It like because I've been hearing like all the podcasts and everything. It's they're talking about how the fights are on like in the US breakfast time, so that
Wow.
makes sense.
All
Yeah.
right. Excellent. I'm wrong. UFC is also wrong. Kamaru Usman is fighting. How do you pronounce the name again?
Khamzat Chimaev.
I always say Khamzat.
Khamzat
Chimaev. Dude,
Khamzat Chimaev. Brother.
I would love to see Kamaru win this fight, dude. I don't know how you're going to steer it, but I have zero respect for that dude, man. I don't know why.
Well, it's because he's a knobhead.
Yeah.
It's-
Maybe
well,
that's
no,
it.
it's because he behaves like a complete tool. Is the
Yeah.
problem. But I would say I have seen videos today. I don't know how serious it is, but in the open workouts, Kamaru Usman did cut his open workout short because he was doing some flow grappling with Gaethje, and then they both stopped, and he mumbled something about something popping, and they had to cut their workout short. So watch this space. But that aside, let's say that things pop all the time. My ankle pops in and out like all the time. So, but it could be nothing. I think people are just getting kind of hysterical. But anyway, a lot of people are just saying Kamaru Usman's going to get slaughtered in this fight. I don't know if he will. There's a few reasons for that. The thing is, it's like Khamzat Chimaev. Yeah, okay, he's a destroyer, right? He went in, he destroyed everybody put in front of him, with the exception of one man, Gilbert Durinho Burns.
Yeah.
Now, Gilbert Burns, at that time, was very nearly, skill-wise, a step too far for Khamzat Chimaev, right? Now, a lot of people are kind of pointing at Usman saying, oh, he's coming off 2 straight losses. He's washed. He's coming off 2 straight losses to one of the best pure strikers in mixed martial arts, in Leon Edwards. I would ask this question. Is Khamzat Chimaev's stand-up better than Leon Edwards? Just purely on stand-up.
Stand-up, I don't know. We've not seen it, you see. We've only seen his striking against Gilbert Burns, so it's tough to call.
I think he's got power. I think his striking's okay.
Yeah. Is that WWE guy?
He knocked out Gerald Meerchat,
yeah.
GM3. But for me, no, his striking is not on the same level as Leon Edwards. In pure striking, I don't think it's a contest. Also, I would point to Khamzat Chimaev's record, and I would ask, where is the elite level collegiate wrestler? There isn't one. Right, he's been able to ragdoll people. Look, he ragdolled Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland is a good grappler, but he's not a wrestler, right? Marvin Vettori out wrestled like Kevin Holland. So Kevin Holland being ragdolled, that's not as impressive as it looks, right? Kamaru Usman is a Division II NCAA, like collegiate. He is as legit as it gets when it comes to wrestling, and he mixes it in with his mixed martial arts better than anybody not named George St. Pierre. Yeah, he's that good. He is. I mean, look, if Khamzat Chimaev can ragdoll Kamaru Usman, then fair play. He might be the second coming. He might be everything that he says that he is. But I'm gonna need to see that first. I'm gonna need to see it.
I'd love to see how it's going to be in the first, let's say the first 2 minutes. If Kamara weathers that storm, if he keeps distance, if he gets caught or grabbed, that he could use his wrestling in terms of separation or whatever. But that first 2 minutes is the key to the fight.
I think if Hamzat doesn't get him down and it stays on the feet, I think Usman might be a problem for him on the feet. He's got good power. He's got an excellent jab. And he doesn't, and if he doesn't have to worry too much about the takedowns because he stuffs the first few and Khamzat realizes, oh, this guy is actually really good at wrestling. He's going to be a problem to take down. I think Kamaru Usman's takedown defense is something like 94%.
Yeah,
That's
it's pretty good.
ridiculous.
So let's see if he can like weather that storm, and let's see if he can not get ragdolled, get some underhooks in, keep it on its feet, keep the hips out. Tire comes that out, and within the first round, let's see what type of cardio Khamzat. How am I supposed
Khamzat
Chimaev
Khamzat, brother,
has has he got the ability to ragdoll 2-3 rounds? But I'll be watching that one closely, man. But the main event, oh man, so excited. How do you think it's going to go?
Well, this one is all about who can dictate the pace, because in the first fight, I think it was the judges scored it completely perfectly. I had the first 3 rounds to Islam Makhachev. I had rounds 3 and 4 to Volkanovski, which wasn't enough to get the win, but the direction of the fight was tipping heavily in favor of Volkanovski. There was one more round, it would have been a draw. 2 more rounds, Volkanovski wins that fight. Because for one simple reason, Islam Makhachev, he has the cardio to go 5 rounds. He does not have the cardio to go 5 rounds at the pace of Volkanovski. Makhachev has to keep the pace at his level. Volkanovski has to take some risks, he has to be aggressive, and he has to push the pace to his level. Those are the keys in this fight. It is that simple. Skill-wise, they're both elite. They're both as good as it gets. But Volkanovski must push the pace. Islam must slow the pace down. That's my take on it.
Yeah. I would love to see Volkanovski get the title back and just get some more domination, like not dominating fights, but just a legacy kind of like number of wins behind his belt before he'll retire in the next 2 years. I don't think there's going to be a lot more of him left.
And you've got to enjoy it while it lasts, because he is, for me, skill for skill, Volkanovski is probably one of the best we've ever seen. Seen. His footwork is unbelievable. His kickboxing, his timing, his submission defense, his grappling. He is elite everywhere the fight goes. The way that Craig Jones put together his jiu-jitsu game plan in order to really trouble the Dagestan style. So he's the first guy to really do that, to really like cause problems in the grappling for one of these Dagestan guys, like someone as good as Islam Makhachev. The other thing that I think that people are maybe overlooking is like Makhachev has quite a lot on his shoulders going into this fight, because look, take the result away from it, right? Before that result was called, one man was broken, one man was not. And the broken man was not Volkanovski. It wasn't.
Yeah. True.
There was one man asking for a rematch before the decision was called out. It wasn't Volkanovski, because Islam Makhachev thought he had lost.
Yeah.
Volkanovski did well enough that Islam Makhachev thought he had lost. Take the judges, anything else out of it. Makhachev, before they called out that decision, he was relieved when they called out his name.
Yeah, it's true.
He's carrying that into the octagon. This is the guy that did that to him. He has nightmares about Volkanovski. Right. Volkanovski's this tiny Australian tiny guy that I should have mopped the floor with, and he beat my ass in those last 2 rounds. And I was very fortunate that there wasn't another round after, because otherwise I probably would have lost that fight. And deep down, Makhachev knows that. He does. Look, that's either going to have inspired him to work even harder, and we'll see the best Islam Makhachev we've ever seen, or like he's going to start getting PTSD flashbacks when Volkanovski starts turning that pace up, just turning up the pressure cooker, turning up the temperature until he just can't bear it anymore, because he broke Islam Makhachev. He did. It wasn't a complete break, but he would Makhachev wilted. We all saw it. We all saw it.
Man, I'm excited. Are you going to watch it live?
Yeah, of course.
Awesome.
I'm gonna be in Wales with some buddies, so I'm gonna take my my Fire Stick, I think, and make sure that I have
Your
my
Fire Stick.
Fire Stick.
Are you
Yeah,
on the
because
oh, you mean for okay, sorry. I thought you
yeah,
meant
because
something
I
else.
no, because I get I
That
subscribe
went
to
straight over
Discovery.
your head,
Yeah,
dude. The joke was just fucking lost on you. Our viewers may have caught it and are commenting now going, Bert, you missed the drum roll. You missed the but you missed it. But go on anyway. Sorry.
sorry. Yeah, so anyway, I've got Discovery Plus.
Right.
And it gets TNT, which is the new channel that it's on in the UK. It's
Beautiful.
yeah.
There you go, man. I'm excited. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna try and do more regular episodes, dude. We may need to do a breakdown of how the event
Yeah,
went, or the next UFC, or talk about something controversial again, like the amount of fucking genders being two or something. I don't know,
I'm
man.
in. I'm in. Yeah.
Do you have any final thoughts before we sign it out?
Final thoughts. Yeah, enjoy events like this one because they're not all like this. Also, if you do get a chance, go back and watch the main event from last week's fight night. Edson Barbosa against Yusuf. It was probably one of the fights of the year. It was excellent. It was very, very good.
I missed it.
You know, yeah, a lot of people did. Honestly, I think a lot of people are a bit UFC'd out. I think
Right.
there's too much. There might be too much of a good thing because sometimes it's exhausting keeping up with it.
Oh
It
yeah.
really is. Like sometimes I get real UFC fatigue, and it happens to the best of us. But this card really got me going. Like I said, as soon as I finished researching it, I had to record my episode. I
Right.
got a very late night because of it, but I had to do it because I was like, I've got all these ideas fresh in my head,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
But
And it
you
was fun
remember
talking about them with you, to be fair.
Definitely, man. I love coming on. One of the main reasons I asked you back on here tonight is because I didn't want to do one by myself on my comeback from a big break, you know.
Yeah.
But it's I remember back in the day, you touched on it there briefly. It was like back in the day, dude, it was like 4, maybe 5 pay-per-views per year.
Oh yeah.
And it just made the events more special, and the anticipation a few weeks before the fight was coming up. You were talking about it with the guys in the gym. Now there's a fight every second weekend, every weekend
Every weekend.
sometime.
It's been like we've had one weekend without a fight in the last like since May, I think.
Mm,
Since May. It's a
yeah,
long like we've had one weekend off.
there
And
you
it's
go,
like, look,
man.
don't get me wrong, I admire the UFC and I love that, there's so many fights to watch. We're so spoiled. I shouldn't be complaining that there's too much of it, but sometimes it is. There's a fatigue that goes along with it. You're like,
That's
shit,
it.
got more fights to watch. And
Yeah,
yeah, it takes away from some of the smaller fight night cards because you end up just being like, oh, I can't be bothered with this one really.
yeah,
Especially, yeah. But
that happens.
the last one was excellent though.
But
It was.
nonetheless, go check out Burt Green on YouTube, the Burt Locker, correct?
The Burt Locker on YouTube. Yeah, if it's the uh Burt Green on Instagram, the Burt Green on Twitter as well. Yeah, just yeah, give me a follow. I do a lot of content, a lot of fight talk, fight previews every week. I try and keep it light and fun. It's like I'm a bit under the weather still. I'm normally more fun and energized than this. I promise.
That's all right,
But
dude. We all are entitled to
yeah,
down days. You just got to make sure that when you're tired and you got that deep throat, that you get on and do a husky fucking voice for the ladies. You know what I mean?
yeah. I'll have like a jazz soundtrack in the background or something.
I love it. And a
It's
cigar and
like
a whiskey.
nice.
Nice. All right, we're out of here, guys. Thank you very much for listening, Bert. It's an absolute pleasure to have you back on, dude. We will have you back on again. Just get your team onto my team. I'm sure we'll crunch the numbers and make it
Sounds
work.
good. Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Rocking. Take care, guys.